Hello, and good day or good evening wherever you are. Today, once more, it's Dr. Magde on Back to the Basics. Did you know Back to the Basics? Today, I'm going to touch on a very sensitive issue, obesity or fatness. What is obesity? Obesity is weight gain beyond normal for that sex, age, and height. When we look at a person, we look them according to the age, according to the sex and the height. Because somebody who's 30 years is not expected to weigh the same as somebody who's 60 years of the same height. So other explanation says weight that is above the BMI. BMI is a standard called Basic Metabolic Index, which measures the weight and the height and the age. So we've got different body types. Some people are lean and tall. You've got to take that into consideration. Some are lean and short, like Chinese. Some are beefy. Some are broad shoulders. Some are short and stocky. But the fact is, within all that different body types, there is more obesity in women than in men. So weight gain is caused by eating more than what our body needs. As simple as that. So when you gain weight, don't blame it on other things, but most of the time blame it on that you are eating more than what your body needs. So the body is very wise. The body in its wisdom, when you eat too much, more than what it needs, it will take the rest and store it in the liver. If your body needs it, the liver will metabolize it, bring it back so that your body can use it. But if the liver is full, then your body will store whatever you eat as fat. It doesn't matter that it's carbohydrate, it's fat, or it's protein. If it's too much in the body, it's going to be stored as fat. So the rest is stored as fat to be used when or if the body needs it. But unfortunately, in modern living, we never get to a point where the body now has to break that fat back to need it as energy. Most of the time, we are overeating. Unfortunately, most people, they eat more than what the body needs, resulting in overweight. We should now get to obesity. So when we say you are obese, you are probably you are more than your BMI. If say your BMI is supposed to be 30, obesity will be anything from 35 upwards. So causes of obesity, as I've already said, the main cause is overeating. But the other cause is eating too much of the wrong food. If your diet is full of starch, day in and day out, your diet is full of fat, day in and day out, you're calling for obesity. So, also eating too much and not exercising. Because as I said, whatever that you eat, if it's too much, the body stores it in the liver. If the body needs it, it will metabolize it and your muscles will use it. But if you eat too much and not exercising, then you will be obese. That is why gyms where people go to exercise mushroomed when people started using car more than walking. When I grew up, I only knew that gyms is where people who are practicing for boxing will go. But now gyms are all over. It's a big business. Why? Because as people, we no longer walk, we just drive everywhere. So even our children, we take them to school in our cars, they come back in our cars. They don't have the chance to walk because walking, it's a natural exercise. Walking, it's a free exercise. So our children after school, what do? They sit and watch TV and eat and eat and eat. Hence, we have obesity even at a young age nowadays because of the lifestyle, because of how we are living, eating too much of the wrong food, not walking, using our cars or taxi or whatever to go everywhere. So, but sometimes there are reasons why somebody can be obese. So it's not only about eating too much. There are diseases that can lead to your metabolism not working correctly, and then you become obese or fat. So some diseases of the ovaries can release hormones that make you to put on fat more easily. Diseases of the thyroid, diseases of the adrenals. So the ovaries are part of the female anatomy, but the thyroid, we all have the thyroid gland, which is in our throat here, which is a part of the metabolism of the whole body. So diseases of the adrenals are next to our kidneys, small hormone, they release a lot of hormones next to the kidneys. So such diseases can make one not to be able to metabolize fat and you get fat. But also you can have a brain tumor. Brain tumor, sometimes they will press on an organ in the brain called the hypothalamus, and in that way make somebody to release enzymes that will not help in fat metabolism, because everything in the body, there are enzymes or certain chemicals that are necessary for that metabolism. But the other causes of depression, of obesity, that is so common, and I'm coming to the psychological causes of obesity, it's depression. Most people, when they're depressed, either they will eat or they will not eat. So those who are depressed, they eat and sleep, and that can be the cause of depression. Other causes of obesity, there are psychological. It could be a low self-esteem. When somebody doesn't think well of himself or herself, they can overeat. The same way they can become anorexic. So those are causes of obesity. But the other causes of obesity is psychosocial. Psychosocial means how you are socialized, what is happening in your community, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. So in other communities, it is acceptable for someone to be fat. It is acceptable for women to be fat. So if you come from that community, you won't see anything wrong with being obese. But the main cause for psychosocial reasons for somebody to be obese is because being in a family that overindulge. Some families, they eat too much, and it's the way they are. You only see when you visit them and they offer you something to eat and it's so big and you say, I can't eat this much, but for them, it is normal. So if you live in that, if you are part of that family that overindulge, chances are that everybody in that family is going to be big, and they are going to say it's genetical, only to find out it's not genetical, it's because people are overeating, and in the family, they are used to eating that way. So I've already said, living in a society where it is acceptable to be overweight. In some society, they think that if a woman is plumpish, it means they are taking good care of her, which is not necessarily so. The other thing, psychosocial, is that some people are cooked with a lot of fat, or they eat a lot of fatty food as part of their diet, or eating a lot of carbohydrates. You find somebody eating, for them to be normal to eat 6 or 5 slices of bread, or a big portion of soft porridge, which we call pap here in South Africa. So some people are used to eating heavy carbs, and if you eat those carbohydrates, those fatty food, you are obviously going to be fat, especially if you don't walk or if you don't exercise, if you don't take this free exercise called walking. So why should we worry about somebody being fat or obese? So the impact of obesity on our body is, if you are overweight, there's chances that you're going to suffer from backache sometime in the future because your skeleton is carrying so much fat. There is a chance that you're going to suffer from knee problems because your body is now weighing that weight on your knee joint. And you are also going to suffer from diabetes. We'll talk about it some other series. And you are going to suffer from hypertension because most of the time, if you are fat, it means you are eating more of the wrong fat. And the wrong fat, they are going to cause your arteries to clot. Then you are going to have hypertension and even cholesterol and heart disease. So there are many impacts of obesity on our body. But the other thing that I want to highlight, and which is for women, some people it's business, cellulite. Cellulite are those dimples around the thighs that occurs in women because they are overweight. And some people, they make business out of that. They sell creams, they sell gels, they sell stones and whatever they are selling to remove the cellulite. But cellulite, unfortunately, it's fat which pulls on your skin. It pulls on your skin and then it leaves those dimples, We call it a peau d'orange in medical term. You get those dimples mostly on your thighs because for women, the fat normally goes the thighs and the abdomen. For most men, the thighs, the fat is around the abdomen. So if you want to deal with cellulite, just do the natural thing. Start walking and check your diet if you're not eating too much fatty food or too much of the carbo. And unfortunately, your body will always store what is not necessary. So obesity is the main cause of cellulite, people. It means treating cellulitis is as easy as walking. Treating cellulitis is as easy as eating the right amount of food. So I've already said that cellulitis will obviously be visible around the thighs in most women. The fat, as I said, is pulling the skin, making those indentation on the skin. So how do we deal with this epidemic of obesity? I've already said the right thing to do is to eat right or eat less. It's very obvious. Be more active. Have time when you don't use your car and exercise. For women, creams for cellulite do not work. They're just taking you for a ride. The easy way to treat your cellulite is to eat more food with fruits and vegetables and eat and drink a lot of water. So you don't have to buy these expensive creams. So some say they are obese because it is in the family. I'm not sure whether we have an obese gene. People who have studied genes, they can tell me whether there is an obese gene or you get obese simply because in your family you eat too much or you don't do the right thing, you don't exercise. So people will always say, I'm obese because I'm happy. Happiness is not linked to obesity, people. Obesity is linked to diseases and depression. So all I can say is obesity is one of those problems of modern age. But unfortunately, we can't keep quiet and say we know there's nothing we can do. As I said, dealing with your obesity is so easy. You eat right, you eat more vegetables and fruits, you walk, you exercise. And that is all that you need. Women, those creams, I don't think they work. And women know that because sometimes when they get overweight, they also have silver stripes. And they put on all the creams that are there in the market for the silver stripes on the abdomen and on the thighs, because the silver stripes are also an indication of your skin stretching or obesity. So in short, I say it's easy to treat obesity, viewers. It's so easy. Eat right, eat more of the good food, less of the junk food. Take a walk, drink water, and that's all that you need. I say thank you once more. I'll see you on my next series. This is Dr. Magde. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.